How goes it, you beautiful people? Superbad Dampierre is the name. Spinning a story is the game. And today's story is about how being a bored kid got me into a crap ton of trouble. I just want to preface this and say I am not in any form condoning the actions I've done in this video. I am merely explaining the situation I went through and the consequences of it. Now let's play this track. First off, I would like to say, please forgive my mustache. It's abnormally red today, and that's because I had a hair show today. And yes, it was a lovely experience. But to set the scene, me, 14 years old, freshman in high school, and absolutely uninterested in everything it had to offer. So I did what all bored, uninterested high schoolers do. I skipped school. And I mean, I would skip like every day. And I would sleep in class when I was in class. It was a real problem. The other students were jealous because the teachers just gave up. And then when I wasn't there, I was out stealing bikes. But one day, I'm out on a run. And by run, I mean out stealing bikes and cruising the neighborhood with my woadie. And somehow we decide to come up with a grand idea to break into the mall. So after, I want to say, about a month of planning that I wouldn't really consider planning because we were like, kids, didn't understand how to break into a mall for real. We decided to give it a shot. So we went up to the mall, and before it closed, we tried to hide in the bathroom like a bunch of idiots. And then the janitor came in and he kicked us out. But luckily, or perhaps unluckily, me and my woadie happened to have done this on a day when they were doing construction. So you know what that means? There was an opening. And I was small and agile enough to climb right in and open the door. So we get in the mall, and there we are. All of this open space, no one in there, crowding everything up. And we think to ourselves, oh yeah, we hit the jackpot. We're about to go to GameStop. So we're cruising through the mall. Still empty. We don't see anybody. And I run across a Wetzel pretzel. And I had this just uncontrollable urge to get me a pretzel and some cheese. So I hopped over that dang little bar or whatever, and I grabbed me a pretzel, and I dipped it in some cheese, and I ate that pretzel, and it was delicious. And while that was happening, my woadie stumbled across a cell phone. This is going to matter later in the story. Now, he gets this cell phone from one of those cheap cell phone little shops that be in the center of malls, like a little kiosk. And we take it. And as we're heading toward GameStop, we see a man. Well, I see a man. And I look at my Wody and I say, bro, that's the security guard. And he says, what? And I say, bro, that's the security guard. And he turns and looks at us. And he's like, hey, come here. And being kids, we do the exact opposite. And we take the hell off. We sprint for the exit. He's chasing us. And we come across the double doors. And I want to say it's about 20, maybe 30 feet from where the mall turns and heads down the hall to the double doors to exit. Well, I wouldn't say it's double doors, but it's a bunch of doors. And I decide to pull a ninja move, so I hide behind the vending machine. My Wody, he's trying to smash open the door. So he's just kicking the door. The security guard's at the other end of the mall. He's not coming down there because he doesn't see me, so like a smart man, he's playing it safe. But my Wody tells me, bro, help me break this door open. We gotta get the F out of here. So I take my little 95-pound butt and I run up and time it to when he starts to push the door open. And I jump up and kick it with every little bit of force my little tiny body can muster. And we blow that door open. Oh my God. It felt so good to hit that open air. And we took off across the parking lot. Like two tiny black bolts of lightning just scattering across the wind. And we got out of there. But like idiots, we ran like right across the way to a dang Taco Bell. Taquero Taco Bell. And we hide by the dumpster. But luckily, I was smart. So instead of hiding by the dumpster, I got my Wody and we hid directly behind the dumpster in the smallest amount of space. If you didn't look back there, you wouldn't think anyone could fit back there. So when we got back there, my Wody's grandpa calls, but his phone's on like silent. So the security guard doesn't hear it. And we hear him get on his walkie-talkie. He's like, yeah, we got 2 suspects. They got away. I don't know where they went. Now, at this point, adrenaline's pumping. We're like 2 trapped rats, nowhere to go. And once he turns and leaves, we wait for about 20, 30 seconds. We come out of there and cut through these just disgusting woods. So we cut through the woods, started heading back home. I want to say that was about like maybe it felt like a 2-hour walk. But halfway in, we stole the bike and rode that thing back. And once we got home, we passed out. He went home, he passed out. I went home, I passed out, forgot about it. Now, this is where the cell phone comes into play. Because now I got away with burglary. I got a pretzel and I got a cell phone. Now, what am I going to do with that cell phone? I figured it out. So, I tell my woody, bro, bring the cell phone tomorrow. I got an idea. And I don't know what convinced me to do this, but he brought the cell phone, and I go in the bathroom, and I call in a bomb threat to my school. And like 10 minutes later, they evacuate the building for like 45 minutes. And then eventually they just let school out. So now I'm thinking, I've got the power now, yeah. So, geez, like an idiot, I must have waited for like a day or two. And I did it again. I think I did it 2 or 3 more times. And I just remember one day I did it on a rainy day. And everyone sat outside in that rain and they were all furious. And I just remember thinking to myself, if only they knew it was me, I'd probably get beat up. But they didn't know. But that's neither here nor there, because they would not know for long. Because one day I tell my woody, I want to say this was about a weekend or so. I must have called those bomb threats like 3 or 4 times total now. And I told my woody, bring the phone. Today, I'm doing it again. But before I had the chance, during the first class of the day, I was called to the office. And guess who was waiting there for me? A cop. And you know what that cop wanted? He wanted me and my woody. And do you know why he wanted me and my woody? Because they knew we broke into that mall. Now, here we are downtown. We're getting interrogated. I'm a kid. I don't know. I didn't really care at that point, because they showed me a picture of me eating the pretzel directly in front of the camera. So I knew I was busted. It was game over for me. I was over it at that point. But what I wasn't expecting was for them to find that cell phone that my woody had and trace it and realize that it was the same phone used to make the bomb threats. Now, this just became a bigger issue. And I'll go all into that in part 2. So, make sure you watch that.